Does everyone have the notes, by the way? Timmy,
Yeah.
do you have notes, or are you just running blind today?
I got the notes.
I mean, there's some of the notes that he can't really talk about, though.
That's true.
Fair enough.
Yeah. We'll skip past the my that's a shame was going to be Yankees involved, so we'll skip past that.
Can we just start with that's a shame right now, because it's really pissing me off? Can we just do that right now?
Yeah, right.
Start.
Off the bat, right?
Give me the intro, Dusty, because you're the Mike Greenberg of this thing. So
Here, I can remove Tim, and we can talk about the shit that Tim can't talk about first, and then I'll bring him in.
We can do that.
No.
But Tim, he'll just be in the bottom. He'll just be in the bottom, but like nobody can see him or anything like that.
I mean, I could turn my camera off and mute it.
You're just down below.
All right. Welcome to another episode of Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture. Today, we do have a special guest joining us in a moment, but we do have to talk about something before he joins us. We're going to start with the Orioles. We had a little bit of a rough week. We played a series against the Cubs where we got swept. Played a series against the Yankees where we should have gotten swept. Didn't quite happen for the Yankees. They had a little bit of a defensive meltdown in the final inning. My dad's a shame. We're just going to start this off right away. For the week is going to be Alex Verdugo. Not a huge fan of that guy on this podcast in general. That's a shame for Alex Verdugo. He had a 99% chance of catching that ball that went 30 feet over his head. Brian, you go.
My shame is very simplistic. USA Soccer and their inability to keep their stadium safe. People were going through air ducts to get into the stadium. That's ridiculous. It's actually bringing calls where they don't want to have the World Cup here now. People were running through the gates and then going through air ducts like it was something out of fucking Argo. Like you gotta be kidding me.
That was that's Miami Stadium, right?
Yeah, it was at Hard Rock, whatever the hell it is. Yeah,
dude, they fucked that place up.
The people were videoing people going through air ducts. I mean, this isn't John McClane and in the tower, the Nakatomi Tower or whatever the hell it is. And what is it, Die Hard? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to do a that's a shame this early, but I mean, I'll piggyback on Dustin and go that's a shame with Volpe making bobbling that ball to keep that inning alive. That, I mean, Verdugo doesn't make an ass out of himself in left field if he doesn't fumble that ball. And I mean, he's got an easy flip to second base to end that game. So I'll go with that.
Yeah. Just quickly,
I think TV's that's a shame is Brooks' headphones. They're just not working.
It's my whole fucking set. Every time I update my computer, like I have to re-download all the softwares, and inevitably something goes wrong. So,
just quickly, because we have a guest waiting to join us, I want to talk about this week in Orioles baseball. We had a 5-game stretch this week where we scored 4 total runs. That's not good. We're having trouble moving runners over. We're having trouble leaving a lot of guys on base. It's been a little bit of a problem we talked about this year. This week, it kind of came out as bad as it probably has all season. Just a rough stretch of games for the week. Probably should have gotten swept in both series as we've said already, but we got lucky yesterday and we were able to win that game. What did you guys think about the team this week in general? Just real quick.
Like me, just watching people coming to the bar, they're like, oh, they're pitching. I'm like, when you're scoring 4 runs in 5 games, you got to blame the bats too. I know everybody all excited about Gunnar and Adley and Mountcalf, but guess what? They're not hitting. So if they're not hitting, and then our pitchers like Corbin Burns, Grayson Rodriguez, they didn't have bad outings. But when you don't score any runs for them, then it's kind of like going back to 2011 where you had good pitching, kind of like between Tillman and Godman, but couldn't score. So we'd lose games 2-1, 2-0. So unfortunately, it wasn't our week. But I think the All-Star game's coming at the perfect time.
Yeah.
Give everyone a little break, a little breather, and hopefully I'm right.
If I can chime in here on this one, is this All-Star break came at the right time. That win, I feel like, catapults us to a better second half of the season. And by better, I mean we're already the third best record in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I just really feel like that win was so important, not because we just beat the Yankees, but because it makes you feel good going into the next half.
With a one-game lead.
With a one-game lead, it just feels better.
It could have been a lot worse. So,
yeah. And remember, 2 words.
Certainly could have been a lot worse.
2 words with the Yankees.
Yeah. We'll skip that.
I'm leaving that. I'm leaving it alone.
We'll skip those 2 words today. Joining us today is our friend Tim. Tim happens to play for said organization that we were just talking about, the New York Yankees. You may be familiar with Tim Meza. Played against us has been in the Blue Jays organization for quite a while. Just signed a deal with the Yankees. He's going to be with them. Brooks, you want to get him back in here?
Yeah, let's bring him back on.
There he is. Guys, this is Tim Meza.
What's up, guys?
How we feeling?
Tim,
What's up?
I said, how we feeling? Let's do a little review of like what happened with Tim, if you want to go over that. I know everyone saw our reaction last week that Tim signed with the Yankees. Selfishly, we all wanted him to come to Baltimore because we love him.
Tim, I want to tell you this right now. I asked Brooks directly to his face via this computer if you came to Baltimore, Brooks had to do the podcast completely nude. I really wish you would have signed with the O's, but I know you said they didn't have any interest. That is selfish, but I wanted it so bad.
Yeah, Tim, if you want to talk about how the last couple of weeks have been for you.
Yeah. I'll just kind of give a brief recap. As I'm squeaking in the chair constantly. No, things. It's no secret the season's been kind of rough and a lot of ups and downs, and it comes down to, performance, and the team in general and myself weren't performing up to standards. So, the organization decided to make a move 2 weeks ago and designate me for assignment. Basically, that means I get to go through like different types of waivers. Teams have the ability to claim me, and I think at that point they would have to pay whatever the rest of the salary is for the season, or they can make a trade with the Jays to get me on their team. Over the course of the 10 days I was home, I cleared waivers. So at that point, the team releases me and I become a free agent. And just went through that process for a couple of days. Felt like the Yankees at the time were a good fit, and obviously I've seen them a lot and seen kind of the development that they've had with pitchers, and seeing what they've done with some guys with a similar repertoire, kind of sinker slider, and how they've been able to maximize those guys. So felt like it was a good fit, and decided to sign a minor league deal with them. So came down, been in Tampa now for roughly 4 or 5 days, just kind of getting in their pitching lab and seeing where the inefficiencies are in my delivery, where are some things that have changed over the course of 4 years that may have contributed to the loss in velo this year. Just getting in the lab and trying to figure out some of the flaws that may have happened and some things that may have changed over the course of the last 3 years, and clean those up prior to reporting to AAA here, hopefully in the next week or so, because the breaks right now, so obviously nobody's playing.
What do you think changed?
Yeah, I've always been pretty honest with myself and never thought that I'm not the guy who's going to go out there and blow you away with like 94, 96, but definitely have averaged 93 for the majority of my career. And for it to be about 91 being the average now is pretty alarming, and definitely changes the way you have to, or I try to not think about, but it definitely changes the way you go out there and attack guys, especially somebody who wants to get after you with sinkers and attack, kind of get you on the ground as quick as possible. And so I think there definitely is some flaws and some changes in the delivery that, whether I was aware of or not, happened throughout the course of this year. I don't know if it happened because I was trying to get velo and chasing velo. So mechanically, maybe there were some things that changed just in me trying to chase velo constantly. But yeah, I'm seeing some progress. I'm definitely feel like the ball's coming out a little better now, and things that I've been working on. But yeah, I got, probably five more days down here, maybe, or roughly, I don't know, the concrete plan to really kind of maximize these flaws and really narrow in and hopefully get on a good run here.
I think CB's got something here.
So do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing that you stay in the AL East? Were there any thoughts like, oh, if I got out of the AL East, I'm seeing different people, even though, like, obviously you're not only playing the AL East, you just
yeah. I would say it definitely was a thought. Kind of what would happen, if I got out of the AL East. I don't know. In today's age, it's tough because everybody has the tech, everybody has the data that they can go back and see, and maybe there's a bit of an advantage in going elsewhere because they probably haven't seen me like standing in the box and facing me. But I think it's a wash when you think of the fact that I've seen them so much as well, and I have understanding of what they do well, and kind of attack them that way. So I think it can go either way. I just I felt like I wanted to go to a place where development and opportunity were available, and I think the development side here is kind of what drew me there the most, is like who and where did I feel like they could get me back on track in the next few weeks and get me back pitching the way I know how, so I can finish the season stronger regardless of where it is. I think if I pitch to my capabilities and I pitch to how I've been able to pitch in the last 3 years, then I truly believe good things will happen regardless of where they are.
Did location, geographic location, a factor?
I think a little bit. I think when you have a family and you have kids, it sometimes can make the West Coast a little tough. And when you're thinking I'm signing a minor league deal, and obviously the hope isn't to stay in AAA, you always strive to make it to the big leagues regardless of where you're at. I think you take the family matters into account and what makes it easier on the family, and to just even talk to the family. I think in the West Coast, you're kind of waking up really early just to FaceTime, just to say good morning, and then you're probably at the field, and by the time you're done, they're asleep. So it kind of played a factor. I took a lot of factors into effect and into account when making this decision. It's a little unorthodox in the timing, I think, where we're mid-season and probably a little further when you think the All-Star break's not truly the midway point, but middle of the season, trying to get back and hit the ground running and make these adjustments on the fly. And I probably overthought it a lot. There was a lot of sleepless nights in the last week or so, just thinking through situations and scenarios and where's best. But I really have enjoyed my time here. And again, that's not a knock on the Blue Jays or anything. I love my time with the Blue Jays and have nothing negative to say about there. They made my dreams a reality. And when they called me up, and I was fortunate to have some good seasons there and playing some postseason games. And But yeah, I guess it's time for a little change of scenery, and I'm hoping it does me well.
Good for you. Before we get into our rundown, I have a question that we all, by we all, I mean myself, Brooks, and Dustin, talked about the other day. We were talking about and I think Brooks brought the topic up. Brooks, help me out here. A pitcher that called his entire game. Do you remember this? And we were asking, we should ask Tim this question. How many pitchers call their entire game?
No, I think it was what was it? Was it so you guys are able to relay back to the catcher, like if you get a ball back in your glove and you want to throw something and you got PitchCom on your glove, you can relay to them what you want to throw before they even call something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, guys either have it on their glove, they might have it on their belt where they tap it on their belt. Like Chris Bassett with the Blue Jays, he was big into that. Where if he had a pitch that he had in mind, he would call it right away. And even last year, I felt like he called the majority of his games just because it was his first year in the organization. So I think he knew what he wanted to do, and now at this point, the catchers have learned him and they understand what he's trying to do out there. But he'll still call a pitch if he's adamant in throwing it.
How common is it for a guy to call his entire game? Like he just does it. The catcher doesn't have to do shit. The pitcher relays to the catcher basically.
It's definitely uncommon, I would say. There's definitely fewer of those than guys who kind of just know that the catcher has the game plan and just kind of follow the fingers a little bit. It's definitely rare for a pitcher to sit out there and call his entire game. Usually that's why you have the meetings pregame with how you want to attack certain guys.
Sure.
And that thing, you have your scouting meeting, you the pitching coach and the catcher, just to go over how you're going to attack those guys and how you want to attack those guys. That way you and the catcher are on the same page and the catcher can kind of call the game from there.
What the hell do you guys look at on that damn tablet when you go into the dugout?
So that tablet is a replay of the game. So it's a delayed feed of the game. So you can kind of go see where pitch location is. Some tablets also have scouting reports on there. So if you want to review a scouting report before going back out, those are on some of the tablets. It's a lot of information, but I think majority of guys are watching back where pitch locations are, and seeing like what was the movement like. Some guys will even go further to see like how the hitter reacted to certain pitches or what swings he put on certain pitches. So it varies, but I think a lot of guys are just watching the game back.
Are you more feel guy, or do you want that information? And what's the consensus? I guess I'm not trying to put you on the spot to tell you, ask you what everyone thinks, but what's the consensus around the league or people you talk to? Is it more feel, or is it more this data analytics bullshit? And I say bullshit as a crappy term, but what do you think, and what did you like?
As it like in what way are we talking? Like,
did you feel like you would rather have feel to make you pitch better, or rather have a tablet in your hand to make you pitch
better? I mean, the tablet's not going to tell you how to get a breaking ball glove side, or how to, I think the tablet, if anything, reinforces maybe what you think and how you think you want to attack a guy. I think for the most part, guys are using it when there are close pitches, or like, man, I felt like I really made a pitch there. And then they go back and look at it because a guy may hit a double and you're like, man, like I felt like I got it to that spot. And then it's kind of just like, it reassures you like, yeah, you did. Or it's like, oh, that's not where I thought that pitch ended up.
Sorry, I'm grilling you on this. Does that tablet have the K-zone on it, like that little box?
Yeah, it's basically what you see on the broadcast is what is on the tablet, along with like other angles, of like you pitching or the hitter, stuff like that. Obviously, like when you're out there and you're going, you're feeling out your stuff, you're feeling out the game, but you're trying to match it with the scouting report and what the data says guys' weaknesses are. I think as a reliever, you don't have it's a little faster. You have to make adjustments a little faster than a starter being in there and being able to get a feel for how his pitches are working that day. For a reliever, for the most part, you're going at him with whatever your best stuff is. And if it works, it works. If not, for the most part, you're there for 3 hitters. But you're trying to match up your stuff with the data that's on the tablet. But that, I would say that a lot of that happens pre-game. Once guys are in the dugout looking at the tablet, I think it's more like just cross-checking, where they thought that pitch was as opposed to where it might be on the K zone.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. I just grilled you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Something I was thinking about this weekend, as we watched the Orioles and Yankees series, there was a little bit of a benches clearing situation. Have you ever been on the mound for somebody arguing balls and strikes and getting thrown out, or having like a benches clearing thing? I'm sure you've been through it. Obviously, being on the Blue Jays for so long, you've probably seen some of those things. But have you ever been on the mound in particular for any of those incidents?
On the mound for like when a guy got ejected, or
something crazy happened. Like,
no, I can't say I have.
No.
I've been on the mound, or not even on the mound. Like I've been walking. Like I've been in the dugout, just gotten done when I came out. Because before, like you were allowed to go into the video rooms where the computers are, and there was no tablets, so you would just run back there to the video rooms. And that's where you would check, where was that ball, was that a strike? And I had one time where I was just in the dugout, no benches clearing, but a guy ran in, saw that the pitch was a ball that was called strike three, came back out, started arguing with the umpire and got ejected. But that's about as close as I've been to like a guy being ejected with me on the mound.
Yeah.
But
on a scale of 1 to 10, how worthless do you feel running out of the bullpen after the brawl already starts?
Yeah, a 10, like, especially when you're running in side by side, you're like,
and you can always the ones that don't want to play because they're the slowest people to come from.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah.
And in Baltimore,
what the fuck am I doing here, man? Like, it's already over.
Yeah, and in Baltimore, it's not quick to get out onto the field because you have the cobblestones, so you're trying to like tiptoe your way to the stairs to get down to the field in hopes that you don't slip, and then you got to run in. But
because you're wearing fucking cleats.
yeah. So
Clifford Franklin from
no. By the time you get in there, it's over, and you're like talking to the bullpen on the way back. It's like, what are we doing?
That's gotta be some of the best conversations. That should be a fucking show where the two bullpens walk back together after they come out to a brawl.
Yeah.
And just like, what the hell did we just do? Nothing.
Yeah.
Walk for nothing.
Yeah.
All right, we want to talk about some Orioles stuff, or what are we doing here?
Yeah, we can.
I'll see rails.
Yeah, I was gonna ask him because the MLB draft, the first couple rounds were last night. What was your experience at the MLB draft? And like, what do you remember about that process? Just as the guy who's gone through it, I know there's a lot of like 20, 21-year-old kids, 18-year-old kids even that got drafted last night. Like, what would be your advice to those kids, like as a person who's gone through that process?
Yeah. The process is kind of like there's a lot of meetings involved, and I wasn't anything like the guys who got drafted last night. Like those guys, their lives are changing right now in terms of just like the slot that they got drafted in and the money that they got in the first round. But it's also like such a long road. I know, some of the college first rounders, they'll probably be up in the next 3 years or so, but it's like I feel like it gets lost. Like you get drafted and it gets lost, like the actual road to getting to the big leagues. but no, I mean, you're kind of overcome with excitement. And you're like excited that you get drafted, but that's just like the beginning. I think I was shocked and very overwhelmed, and at kind of the level of play. I was definitely overmatched my first couple of years, and then it took like some adjusting. Like I feel like you're constantly tinkering, constantly adjusting to the level of play, and with each level comes new challenges, and you just have to be adaptable. You have to work your tail off, and you got to really, really trust in your work ethic and trust that everyone in the organization is only there to help you and to make you better. But you got to adapt on your own too and find what's your thing that makes you good and kind of run with it. It took me a while. I'm not even, when I debuted, I was 4-seam slider and didn't even have a 2-seam. And now I'm pretty much, 70, 80% 2-seam. So even once you get up, you're constantly adjusting to hitters and constantly adjusting to what they're doing, and they're providing feedback if you have to change or not, if what you're doing is working. If you're getting hit, then it's like, man, like they're seeing something. But if you're getting weak contact and getting ahead and taking advantage of some good counts and strikeouts, then obviously you're on the right track and definitely have a future. But everybody who gets drafted, it's kind of like it's a lottery ticket, and you just got to kind of, what are you going to make of it? You're going to take advantage of the resources and the knowledge that these teams have now, and really dive in and work to improve yourself, or do you think you're already a finished product? Because I think that could get you in trouble too, is if you think you're really good, and obviously everybody who gets drafted has something that the team liked. You just have to really work at it, and you're never kind of a finished product. You're constantly working to improve yourself, and I think you can never like lose track of that mindset of like constantly striving to get better.
All right, enough with the fucking bullshit Bull Durham answers. What are you and Judge going to talk about the first time you talk to him?
Yeah.
It's funny. I was down here and
I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to go there, Tim. I did.
I'm kind of famous around these parts,
I'll go there.
Yeah,
I can go anywhere with Tim. I used to heckle Tim so bad. Oh, man.
Remember the swag days or whatever it was, like
pitcher swag days.
Picture swag days, eye black and
swag days.
Evo Shields.
We
got so mad at us.
We brought the vibes.
He got so mad at us though.
Brooks, I can't believe you went there, man. That's dirty. Dirty.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll get brought up at some point. Yeah.
Why don't you drill him in practice? This fucking plunk him.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. It's gotten brought up a couple times down here, just in talking, and I was like, yeah, I was the guy who gave up 61. And they're just like, well, at least you didn't give up 62. I was like, yeah, you're right, but that was a teammate of mine who did that. I guess it's super weird too, because you grow up, when you're with one organization, you play the Yankees so much, like you're like, man, the Yankees, like I just want to really beat them, and now you're on their side, and you're pulling for them, and you want to do well, and you want to go up there and help them. I don't know what that first conversation. I'm sure I'll wuss out, and I'll just be like, hey, Mr. Judge.
You go in, you fight fire with fire, Tim. I want you to go in there and slug him in the face. Fuck it.
I know our bullpen, got the ball and gave it to him, and so it was just kind of like we got nothing in return for handing that that ball over that's worth I don't even know how much money. So I know our bullpen coach and a couple of guys in the bullpen were real mad that we got nothing out of it. Here we just handed over this ball that's worth so much money, and we got nothing, no gifts, no nothing.
Here's a real question. What the fuck is the purpose of a bullpen coach? Answer a phone?
So he's providing information as you're warming up. He goes over scouting reports with the bullpen guys. He's kind of there. He's there to help you and to make sure you have what information you need to go into the game and to perform. So simple cues, like he's kind of learning, like what are, if you're in the bullpen and you're kind of, spraying it a little bit, like what's one thing he could say to you that like, all right, yeah, that's right, do that. Yeah. Or some guys, like as you're throwing, he's kind of sitting there like, hey, here's what pitches you have in these locations, and just like quick, like short things that stick with you for when you go out there and face them. But yeah, they're there as a resource and to provide information along with, answer the phone and, let you know what the situation is where you're going in.
This is a question for you and Brooks. Have you ever had a situation, and I'm sure I'm probably going to answer my own question, but I'm not going to do that. Have you ever had a really bad bullpen session, but then killed it on the mound, or vice versa?
Yeah, pretty much every bullpen session.
Where you couldn't locate in the bullpen, and then all of a sudden you're throwing lawn darts out there on the mound.
Yeah.
In the game.
Yeah. It happens. It happens all the time. Probably not as much to Tim because Tim was better than me, but it happens all the time. The worst is like when you're throwing fucking curveballs and sliders and like anything off speed and you just have no feel for it and you feel like it's not doing anything. That's the worst, when you just feel like you have no feel for your pitches. But then again, I had one of those, and then Augie fucked up my no hitter. But I let that go. I let that go a long time ago.
No, you'll have both. I feel like in the bullpen, you're more so because it happens so fast. Like I think you're trying to get ready, but also trying to hone in on what you need to do. Like what are pitches that you need to get ready first, and you try to get those going in the bullpen prior to then being out on the mound. I still am not a fan of them narrowing the warm-up time down 15 seconds. That happened this year. I still think that doesn't, the bullpen mound and the game mound could be very different depending where you're at. So it's like, you want as much time on that game mound as possible to get things going and to feel that slope and, okay, what am I working with here, as opposed to the bullpen mound. A lot of the bullpen mounds are great, but the game mound's just sometimes a little different depending where you're going. The atmosphere is different.
I guess they're all probably different if you think about it, because you're coming in after maybe at least one pitcher, obviously, since you're a reliever, but probably multiple, and whoever's digging on whatever side of the mound that you're trying to work on, it's always going to be a little different for how people like it. And then you get out there and you're like, what the fuck is this sometimes?
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah. So they're definitely different things. But I think you definitely want to get the arm going first. And then it's like, okay, what are things I need to hit on? And then I'm good to go. Because first things first, you got to be ready for when they call you in. So you got to get your arm going. So usually you're just catcher's setting up middle and you're just kind of hucking it in there to get your body going as quick as possible before you start working on locating, and usually you save some of that for the game mound.
Well, if it's cool with you guys, I kind of want to advance a little bit and just kind of talk about the All-Star game, Home Run Derby coming up. I know, Tim's kind of he's handcuffed to what he can and cannot say. So I want to be careful with what we
here, we can say whatever. It's just if it comes to Tim either won't talk, or if we throw it to him. If we throw it to him, he can just say, I can't, not something I can really talk about.
Yeah. Who do we like in the Derby tonight?
Ooh.
I'm gonna say Gunner.
No, I'm saying Bobby Witt. I'm taking Bobby Witt. I'm really taking Bobby Witt.
Obviously, I want Gunner to
He's
win.
gonna go for
but
4.
I want Gunner to win, but I'm taking
Alonzo
Adolis
Moore.
Garcia. That guy is a freak show.
Yeah. CB, who do you got?
I mean, obviously, I want to say Gunner, but I kind of like to see Alonzo go for 4 in a row.
That's kind of who I was leaning towards.
Tim, who you thinking?
I don't even.
Who's all in it? Let's do we have?
Oh yeah, I don't even know who's all in it.
I'll run down it.
I mean,
I'll run
have
it down right now. And this is
I played with
from
Teoscar.
favorite to least favorite in terms of odds, at least. Pete Alonso, Marcelo Zuna, Bobby Witt. Yeah, Gunner. You got Teoscar in there. He's a former teammate of yours, right?
Yeah.
Alec Boehm's in it. Jose Ramirez is in it. We've got Teoscar, Adolis, Gunnar Henderson, Bobby Witt. I like Adolis.
You know what? Since CB's going Alonzo, give me Ozuna.
I'm terrified every time he's up. So Zuna
I'm
from
Bobby Witt all day. I know he's only got 15 bombs on the year, but I got a feeling, and I've been pretty good on my feelings. By the way, a friend of ours
on your gut
had
feelings.
a great parlay over the weekend. He picked the winner of the Scottish Open. He also picked Spain to win, and he picked one other thing. I can't remember who the hell it was, and he won like $3,300 on like a $20 bet.
Not bad.
Good for him.
That's all.
What are you saying, Brooks?
That's all he won to pick the Scottish Open winner, parlayed with a couple other things. I thought he would.
It was like a $5 bet or $10 bet. I can't remember. It was a very, very, very small lay down.
Gotcha.
Small wager. Anyway, keeping us on the theme of the All-Star game. We have the American League starting pitcher has been announced just a couple hours before we did this. It is Corbin Burns. New Oriole acquisition. We got Corbin Burns and Paul Skeens are going to be taking the balls for their respective leagues. What do you guys think about Skeens getting the nod to start this game after only having pitched 12 or 13 games in the Big so far?
I love every single second of it because he is now the face of the National League in regards to pitching. I think it's phenomenal. I'm not talking about his talent. I'm talking about how everyone has reacted to him. And Tim, obviously, you're going to have much more on this than I would ever have. But I just think Skeens is he's the face. He's basically making baseball fun for the National League. And he obviously has a better chair than Tim does.
My chair.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. I don't think either of these guys are like the guys who earned the starting nod. I think Scoble should have had it, and I think we talked last week that we thought Skeens could potentially get it, but we thought who was it that we thought was going to get it? It was between two guys.
Wheeler or Suarez.
We thought Suarez was going to get it. I thought, right?
Talking about
Ranger.
Yeah.
Does this come down to he pitched too close to the All-Star game?
It could be. It could be for both, actually. I don't know what their days are looking like right now. So maybe could be.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm happy for both of them. I mean, it's going to be awesome. Yeah. I think they both deserve it. They're going to pitch one inning, right? I mean, who gives a shit? But it is a nice thing to have.
I think Burns flies in to pitch the first inning and then flies out to go see his kids.
Yeah. I'm just glad the All-Star team's back to being fun.
The cool thing about the All-Star game being in Texas is that the first game that we play is in Texas. I'm aware. I'm sorry. I'm on a hot spot.
Does Burns live in Texas? Do we know?
I don't know. I'm not a travel agent. I have no freaking idea. I have no clue. Yeah. Let me check.
Because we thought he wasn't even going to go because he just had twins a week ago. So I'm surprised.
Well, I didn't know that it was his. It's obviously he had twins, but it's his third child now. So he's been through. His wife and him have been through this before, basically. So he knows how to handle this stuff. It's not his first child. Two children.
All right.
Tim, if you got named to the All-Star game and your child was about to be born, would you go to the All-Star game? Putting you on the spot, baby. Let's go.
Think of the repercussions.
I hope your wife's watching this and she's gonna judge you the entire time.
I know.
Speaking of, I send your wife shit all the time on you. Just because you don't have a goddamn Instagram anymore, so I just send it to her, thinking that she'll show it to you.
CB just goes, she's gonna Aaron judge you.
Oh man, how close are we talking?
I guess let's just use Corbin Burns as the example, right? Like a week prior to the All-Star game.
Yeah, I'd probably go. I would go.
You would
It's
go?
a week prior, yeah.
I mean, you gotta fly in for the day, pitch, and then leave that night.
Catch a red eye, baby.
Yeah. Or these guys are probably PJing, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I saw Skeens was, but I mean, his significant other makes more than he does. So.
Yes, and she's a smart-looking lady. But that being said, she's a librarian, as Delaware Dave would like to say. I actually lost my train of thought after saying that. How do we feel about the Orioles' first-round pick?
I'm excited about it. I don't know much about him, but if you look at his numbers, they're pretty great. So,
kind of like
I mean, any first-round pick's going to have crazy good numbers. But what I do like the thing I do like the best about him is that he has won 2 straight ACC Defensive Players of the Year as a center fielder. Mm-hmm. He's also got a season of 25 and a season of 28 bombs. So he's definitely got potential to grow. He's already seems like he's got the defense tool. So I trust Elias.
Yeah, I trust Elias. Well, I want to say he's like 21, but
what side of the plate does he hit from?
He's righty. Yeah. I'm just wondering why we keep drafting position players and not pitching. That's something. And look, I trust Elias. I'm not knocking anything the Orioles are doing.
I was thinking about this the other. Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. I feel like it's so hard to draft like a high round pitcher, and the odds of it working out are so low. I feel like they're much lower than drafting a position player a lot of times. Whether I'm right or wrong, that's just kind of the feeling that I get. And if you have enough of these, I mean, if you're drafting well position wise, you can always go out and trade for an established guy who we already know is good.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I mean, Elias came from the Astros right
now. Yeah. So
the Astros, that was their blueprint.
Yeah.
So it's kind of been working. So we'll see what the trade deadline.
Yeah, I think maybe the organization feels that it can draft and develop talent offensively better than they can pitching wise. And like Tim just said, yeah, Elias came from the Astros. The Astros famously drafted a bunch of position players that came up together and then traded for Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole. And, and that's how they were able to compete for so long. And they've developed good pitching prospects as well. And the Orioles have as well. I mean, don't forget Kyle Bradish and Grayson Rodriguez are drafted homegrown talent too. They're not necessarily.
Bradish was not drafted by us.
Oh, really?
No.
Well, he was developed by us. He was in our system for a while. So,
yeah.
Tim,
go ahead.
Tim, when you face Gunnar, what was the scouting report? Like, where would you have to throw him? Does he have a cold zone?
I mean, I feel like
and if you can't comment, I don't want to put you in a bad spot.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just give the broad answer, and that's like the team in general is pretty good at kind of zone awareness. I'll say, like, up and down the order. So you try to get them on the ground as early as possible. You try to get the 2 strikes as early as possible and expand from there. You do that with everyone, but I feel like with them, they're pretty aware of zones and strike zones and make you come into the zone. And yeah, I mean, you're just trying to keep them off balance. You try to mix stuff up, and I think you just can't stay in one place too long. And that's
eye levels, I guess.
Yeah, and that's with anybody or in and out, depending what your game is. If you're a 4-seam, if you're a 4-seam guy, you'll change like elevations a little bit. If you're a sinker guy or more horizontal game, then you kind of work side to side. But with anybody, you try to keep them off balance, and you don't want to stay in an area too long. But I feel like with the Orioles lineup, they're just pretty good, and they have good hitters, and they understand what they do well. So you don't want to stay too long, or they'll start cheating, start looking in those areas. But like you said, obviously they've done a pretty good job developing hitters and getting them to buy into whatever it is they like to do over there.
You ever seen a pitcher have a tell, either on your team or another? Like, you don't have to give a name.
Yeah. Guys are very conscious of tipping. Organizations are very conscious of tipping, and usually if you are, you're made aware of it by the organization or somebody. There's times like tipping is very much gotten like everybody's pretty paranoid about tipping and about some places have guys who that's their job is to focus on the pitchers and are they tipping, are they not, what are they tipping. So it's definitely something that everyone's pretty paranoid about and pretty like aware of. I'm not sure if you're getting hit, if it's always like, oh, I was tipping. Maybe they just had a good game plan against you. But no, it's definitely a thing that people are aware of, and you try to clean up as quick as possible.
Fair enough. That's good. That's a great answer. You ever seen anyone cheat? Once again, no names. You ever seen anyone do sticky stuff or any of that other
trash cans?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think before it was banned, a lot of guys would do it, and a lot of guys would use it, and I think a lot of guys turn to it, especially in like cold, windy climates when it might be tough to get a grip. I think a lot of guys search for that little bit of extra tack. And I don't think it's everything. You just wonder, like, are guys gripping the ball a little tighter now, and that's kind of like what's led to maybe some more of these arm injuries is, there isn't that tack anymore. So you're gripping the ball a little tighter, and, is that, I think everybody's kind of searching, especially this year, you see a lot of arm injuries. What's the reason for it? And I don't know if I don't have the stats or anything, but I'd be interested to see if from the time when they eliminated tack or stick, have arm injuries gotten up, or guys having to grip the ball a little tighter, and what that stat is. I know for a little bit, I don't know. I know in Japan they have like a pre-tacked ball. I know that they use over there in Japan, and so I don't know what that feels like. I don't know exactly what it is, or is there a universal substance that you can make legal? I don't know what the answer is, but yeah.
I remember what we wanted to ask Tim. Now that we're on sticky stuff, so does every team provide their own rosin bag, or is that just ballpark dependent? Because I feel like.
Thank you, Brooks. Thank you. I forgot.
That's what we were talking about the other day.
Like on the mound,
Yeah.
like can guys bring out their own rosin?
Yep. Or it's just you got to use the one the ballpark provides.
Is it a universal rosin bag, or does every team bring their own rosin bags and whatever stuff they need, substances they need to the ball?
I think I don't really have the answer to that.
Thanks, Tim. It's great. It's good seeing you, man. All
No,
right.
I know. There's like two different kinds of rosin bags. Like one's like rock rosin, and it feels like stones inside the bag, and there's other that's that powdery substance. Those are both like provided in the bullpens. On the mound, it seems to be just the like powder. But I think, and again, in 21 it was crazy because you had the substance, like you were cracking down on stick, plus you kind of had like COVID was still kind of lingering around, so guys would bring their own rosin bag as like so that's where I'm like I'm kind of like I don't have like a concrete answer because in 21 I did see guys with like different rosin bags and they would carry it out with them, put it on the mound, and then when the inning was over go get it. But that could have also been a COVID protocol, and since then I haven't seen it happen so much. So I believe there's more of a universal type of rosin, but it's provided. Like it's when the umpires bring out the balls. I'm pretty sure the rosin comes out too. So.
Well, let me ask you this question. This is very simplistic. Like, if you went to Oakland tomorrow,
yeah,
would the Yankees or the Blue Jays at the time, would they bring a rosin bag with them, or would you just use the Oakland A's rosin bag?
It would just be their rosin bag that gets placed on the mound. But we carry our own for like bullpens and stuff.
Okay.
But in terms of like what's on the game mound, like I'm pretty sure Oakland provides that, or it's in the umpire's room. Something along those lines.
All right.
Yeah, I would imagine with how stringent they are on it now, it has to be that way. But yeah, that's something we weren't real sure about, because I think we were talking about Diaz, the whole Diaz situation, and whether that was rosin and sweat and sunscreen and whatever else. So
we were looking at his hand. I mean, you saw that picture of his hand. It looked like dirt on his hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of Oakland and like playing at the Trop all these games, have you ever had a sharp line drive hit at you on the side of the field because the bullpens are still on the side of the field in the ballparks?
Yeah.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah. The bat boys there are pretty good at being able to make some plays down the line.
How the fuck do you become a bat boy?
They got tryouts.
Do they?
They got tryouts, and now they're in the All-Star game. You get voted into the All-Star game now.
Yeah, Orioles bat boy got the All-Star.
I think you make like $10 an hour or something like that.
It's the experience.
Poverty, baby.
More than my wife.
I mean, when you were still at Toronto, like probably a month ago, one of your bullpen mates straight up tackled the right fielder on one of those plays down the line at the Trop. I believe it was at the Trop.
Straight up tackled.
He tried to like get out of the way and like tried to go out to the field to let him go towards the bullpen.
Oh, that was in Oakland.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, Kikuchi, the first baseman, came and
ran into the right fielder.
Yeah.
How ridiculous is the foul territory in Oakland? It's so vast.
It's massive.
They can put another field in the foul territory.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Hey Dusty, I don't think we can do second half predictions given that Tim's on here.
We'll do that Wednesday.
We can save that.
Yeah, we can do it later.
Yeah.
But do we want to talk about moving on to Jacoby Jones? And what went on there? And Dusty, you probably know more about this than I do. So I'll let you fire away.
To be honest with you, all the information that I know about this in the notes. He turned 40 on Thursday. his family came out with a statement, said he died peacefully in his sleep in his house in New Orleans, and that's via the Baltimore Sun. That information is coming, and they haven't released the cause of death. We don't really know if he was sick. I don't know if anybody has information on this. I was trying to find it this morning, but it's just really sad. Super memorable guy. Probably should have won Super Bowl MVP for us when we won it in 2012. Although Flacco did have a crazy run there, but really just remembering all the electric moments he gave us on the field, and praying for his family and hoping everything's all right. And yeah, it just sucks. Every time we have to talk about this kind of thing, it's just terrible. Yeah.
It really stinks. And you are right. He should have won Super Bowl MVP that year. And he was very prominent in the Baltimore area, especially at Jimmy's Seafood. Always around, always hanging out. I've met him probably 10 times. Just a good human being. So I hope there's nothing nefarious here, or he didn't, unfortunately take his own life. And yeah, it just stinks. It just stinks.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. They say peacefully, and I'm good to go.
I agree with CB on this one. Like, I kind of don't want to know, because it's better off not knowing and just remembering who he was and how he was.
Yeah, it's private information for him and his family, and I don't really think it unless obviously something crazy happened. We're not really worried about how he passed away. It's the fact that he did, and remembering the man he was. He actually coached football at Brooks and I's alma mater at Calvert Hall. So yeah, I mean, definitely like a local legend. And really good. Really sucks to see guys go this early in their career and their lives.
What year you guys graduate from Calvert Hall?
You got 3 Calvert Hall Huckleberries on this damn thing.
Oh yeah, CB's a Calvert Hall guy too.
I got 29.
Old.
I'm 08.
I'm 2012. He's 08. Yeah.
You're the old guy.
Old guy in the room, man.
I'll be 30 in a month, CB.
I'll be 43 in a month.
Tim's what? You're 33, man?
32.
32?
Well, I feel like shit.
Well, you look good. You look good for 43.
Tim, what's the food like in Tampa, man? What do you got?
What's the food like?
Yeah, what's down there? What's the food in Tampa?
People like me, we get the early bird specials. So.
Are you going to the daiquiri deck? Where are you going? Are you going to Sarasota? Go to the daiquiri deck?
No. I'll mix it up. I don't know. I've been ordering takeout a lot. I went to
don't eat whatever Garrett Cole's eating, because he's getting fat.
I've gone to this area, Hyde Park. They have some good food down there. Got some nice tacos the other night. I'm heading back down there tonight, having dinner with a former teammate, and now we played with each other in the Jays for a couple months, and then John Birdie, and then he went to Miami, and now he's over here with the Yankees. So gonna go get some meat. Yeah, some food. I had some nice Italian with Jordan Romano the other night.
Oh, nice.
Oh, he's on rehab, isn't he?
Yeah, he just had surgery.
Speaking of Garrett Cole and Tim, please do not comment at all. The minute Freddie Gonzalez walks into the Chaucer, I am asking him directly, what the fuck were you screaming at Garrett Cole when he was nose to nose with him?
Yeah, he was pissed, dude. That video is awesome. He was out for blood.
Fredo is
the whole thing. I
wouldn't want it. That man's a fucking human wrecking ball. I would not want to fight him in an alley. All right.
We'll move on to golf. Just real quickly, talk about this week. Robert McIntyre, Scotsman, won his home country's National Open. He came in second last year in this tournament to Rory McIlroy's. This is something he really wanted. Obviously, his second National Open of the year. He actually won the Canadian Open. just over a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. Good for him, lefty. So I'm left-handed. I like supporting all the lefties, and he seems like a good dude by all accounts. So, other notable finishers. Adam Scott kind of came out of nowhere, had a really good finish, came in second. Rory, Ludwig Aberg, our dude Aaron Rye, who wears 2 gloves. He's been going crazy the last couple weeks. Colin Morikawa was in there. He's pretty much in every tournament, it feels like. Xander Schauffele, I think, made the cut on the number and then still finished in the top 20. He's just a machine. And then Brian Harmon, Tommy Fleetwood, guys who perform well overseas, also both made the cut and performed pretty well. But we don't really have to talk much about the Scottish Open. I really more want to talk about the British Open, the Open Championship, the last major of the season, as we come up on that. Scotty Scheffler hasn't played a golf tournament in a month, and I still think he's probably going to win. Odds makers think the same thing. And I have the odds for the guys to win, top 5, top 20 listed in the notes. I don't know if you guys want to make picks on who you think's going to win or whatever.
Let's do it.
Do it. Tom Kim. I'm taking him off the board. He's off the board.
Tony Finau.
Hell yeah. Tony Finau. Love it. Hell yeah.
He's so close to being right there.
I know. So he performs well everywhere he goes, it seems like.
He's not a finisher.
I
Ricky Fowler, he was always leading, and then
I like Corey Connors a lot at 70-1. I know it's down the board and it's weird, and Brian's gonna hate me because he's Canadian, but
he's fucking Canadian, man. You're an asshole. You love move to Vancouver, all right?
Dude, just look at his finishes over the course of his career.
Go back to Toronto, all right?
Okay, that's fine. I've never even been to Canada, but I have an affinity for their, I guess, their golfers. I don't know why. I just like the way he's playing. I think he's great. I think he's great odds. Brooks, what do you got?
Give me Fleetwood.
I love it.
Tommy Sweethair.
He'd have been my second.
Fairway Jesus, Fleetwood. Baby.
What about you, Tim?
Come on, Tim. Give me a golfer.
Give me Morikawa.
That's good. That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
Plays
He's
well.
been good all year.
Has played well in some majors, so I think he breaks through.
I like catching Tim off guard. We just like, Tim, what do you got?
I don't know if you guys want to touch the Tiger Woods numbers, or just I don't think it's probably a smart thing to bet on Tiger Woods at this point in his career. We talked about that, but obviously it's always fun to get to watch him play golf. So I'm going to be watching every shot he hits, and it's going to be fun to watch.
What are his numbers? He's 200
to 1. He's 200 to 1. So not a.
Remember when it used to be Tiger versus the field?
Yeah.
Christ.
Now it's Scotty versus the field, dude. Scotty, by the way, 4.5 to 1, and Rory 7.5 to 1. Those are the odds-on favorites. And then Bryson sitting down there at 14 to 1 is pretty interesting as well, because that dude is coming off winning the last major. I don't love talking about gambling with Tim on the podcast, so we're just going to move on from that. The last thing we have on the agenda for the day is our snake draft. Tim, I know you didn't probably prepare for this. If you want to be involved in it,
I told him what it was. I gave him a heads up. He's ready.
So we've got 5 of us here. You haven't prepared? Oh,
Not one bit.
Like 25 written down.
25?
I just rattled off all the ones I could think of right away. So Brooks is doing this as if he's going to pick the frog splash, but
because I won last week.
RBD.
Oh shit! All right, Brooks is the winner. That doesn't happen a lot.
I won. Dustin was second, Brian third, CB. I don't think CB got a vote, so you gotta have a.
It was my first time
First timer.
I should have said you first. I didn't know what I was doing. Now you're all going down.
So,
We're gonna let Tim
this
go
is
first.
how we do it. Because Tim is our guest, he can pick. Tim, do you want to go first? Do you want to go last? Do you have a preference on where you
pick
go?
where you
want
wanna
to snake
pick.
draft situation.
Go first, Tim.
I'll go
Trust me.
first. I'll go first.
You go first. Hell yeah! All right, so let me change this up a little bit. Tim is gonna go first. Brooks is gonna go second. I'm gonna go third, and then Brian, and then CB is gonna pull up the rear here. So Tim gets the number 1 overall pick. This is wrestling finisher moves. And Tim gets the number 1 overall pick. Tim, what's your favorite wrestling finisher move of all time?
I'm gonna go with the spear.
Wow.
Whoa!
Spear.
Left field. Wow.
Is that a Goldberg, a Roman Reigns? Does it matter? It doesn't. Not really.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just spear him.
Fuck yeah.
It doesn't
really-
matter.
Man, he left me wide open for the number 1 overall ranked one. Probably. Give me the Stone
Okay.
Cold Stunner.
Give him the
That
Stone
was
Cold
the number one
Stunner.
pick, man.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick. At number 3, I've got 2 options here, and I'm gonna take. Give me the RKO out of nowhere. I'm gonna take the RKO. Randy Orton special.
I was a massive Razor Ramon fan. I'm going Razor's Edge.
Wow.
I don't even know what
Razor's
that
Edge
is.
in the first round.
It doesn't matter, but I will show you when I see you next. All right.
Just think machismo. CB, you get 2 in a row, dude, and you got some freaking interesting picks here.
Well, the best wrestler of all time, obviously Shawn Michaels. So you got to go Sweet Chin Music.
Yeah, that was the other one I was caught between. That's a great answer there.
And then I'm going to go. I'm crazy. I'm going Mr. Sacco.
Mr. Sacco.
Mr. Sacco.
All right.
Why is he never going to pick that one?
I love that, dude.
I think that's a very underrated pick right there.
Funny.
So it comes back to me, right?
We got some bangers left on the board here, guys.
Oh yeah. Look, I gotta go. I gotta go to the DDT.
All right. I like that. Jake the Snake
Yeah.
Roberts special. I'm going to go with the
Yeah.
Tombstone Pile Driver. I can't believe that wasn't a first rounder.
Tim looks nervous, by the way. He's moving in his squeaky chair.
I don't know if he's much of a wrestling guy, but
You can't hear it squeak anymore, though.
No, you cannot.
all right.
Give me Sweet Chin Music.
No, CB took that.
It's taken.
Why don't you try again, sir?
That's
Put your earphone.
It's fine.
Then give me Rock Bottom.
All right.
Yeah,
I
there
like
you
the
go.
rock bottom.
Good call. Good call.
All right,
My
Tim's
turn?
back up and he gets 2 in a row. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna go with the jackhammer.
Wow, he's just going all Goldberg. I love it.
He's going pure Goldberg, dude.
Spear. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
And now I'm gonna take the stomp.
Whoa.
The
What's
what?
it stomp?
Roman Reigns.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't really watch
Oh,
wrestling much anymore.
The
I
stomp.
don't watch current wrestling.
Yeah, me neither. It's terrible. All right, who's up?
All right, I think I'm up again. Give me
Yeah.
Triple H's The Pedigree.
Ooh.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. It's a strong answer. Only one of my top 5 is still left on the board, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to take Jeff Hardy's Swanton Bomb.
Oh, that's a good one. I can't. What's Rey Mysterio's? Like
619.
the 619.
619, yeah.
Yeah.
You're taking that? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking
That's
the
a great answer.
619.
I love the 619. All right, CB, you get back to back again.
Well, you got to go with the most electrifying move in sports entertainment, the People's Elbow.
Damn it.
Yeah. That's a
Hey,
great
rounds.
answer.
How many rounds is this thing?
It's 5 rounds.
Five.
So we're gonna go back one more time. You'll pick 2 in a row.
Brooks just goes, "Hey, we got a snake draft," and I'm like, I'm thinking this thing's like 1, maybe 2 rounds. We're going 5 rounds.
It's all, top 5, Tim. Top 5.
You think I have 5 wrestling moves?
Wait, you have a Google. You have a Google.
You only work 152 days a year. You should have done that wrestling. My second one, I think I'm going to go with Booker T's the Spinneroonie.
Ooh.
All right, Booker T. Signature move,
right.
Spinneroonie with the scissor kick.
Coming back to me, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. We got to go to the figure 4 leg lock. We got to go with, you
The
know,
Nature Boy.
2 claps for Ric Flair. Tim's writing shit down right now.
All right, I mean, there's just so many ways to go. Nobody, by the way, nobody has taken a submission move. And I will go ahead and do that. I'm going to take the sharpshooter.
Sharpshooter, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and take the sharpshooter.
Well, I was going to take that. I will do. I mean, I guess I'll take John Cena's attitude adjustment.
The FU, we're going to call it. Hell yeah. I like that.
I feel like nobody really
All right.
excited about
So,
No.
Tim, you got 2, and then you don't have to talk about wrestling anymore.
Thank gosh. Give me the Batista bomb.
I like that. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I just love how he's searching his phone right
I'm just
now.
like Googling. I'm like, what do we got here? And the choke slam.
Oh, that's a pretty strong list you got there, dude.
Yeah. We're classics.
the old body slam.
We're classics.
Yeah, just do slam.
Google's top 50, and we're just scrolling down.
Nobody took the sleeper. All right, Brooks, last pick.
I'll do R.I.P. Eddie Guerrero, the Frog Splash.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Good one.
Okay, nobody's taking a tag team move, so I'm going to go ahead and take the Dudley Death Drop, the 3D.
The 3D.
3D.
Through the table.
Just
There's some good ones.
There are so many good ones left.
I don't know what the new ones.
I don't know any of it. Do they have new moves in?
They
Oh, yeah.
redo everybody's else's. You know what I mean?
At some point, you run out of stuff.
Yeah. I just remember Yokozuna like jumping off the top turnbuckle and like sitting on someone's face. He had a huge ass. I would not want that on my face.
What about
Rikishi.
a lot of men?
Is that what you're going to take, the Yokozuna move?
Nobody knows what it's called.
I don't
Big
know
ass
what it's
Asian
called.
in your face. Is it
All
Mark
right,
Pick or
Yokozuna.
something?
I don't know what it's called. That's way before my
Take
time.
it. Just put him on there. He's gonna take up a
Yokozuna
whole
move.
image.
The face ass.
All right,
Ass
CB, finish him up.
All right, I'm taking either Vader bomb or a crossface chicken wing.
What the fuck is a crossface chicken? That sounds like a very ugly woman.
It's a,
Yeah, I'm going crossface chicken wing.
that's a redacted
Bob
wrestler's finishing move.
Well, I'm old than everybody apparently. If I know who Bob Backlund is. He's bad.
Oh man.
He feels
All
like
right.
Tim's accountant.
Some things that we didn't mention: Kurt Angle's ankle lock, the last ride, the walls
Balkan
of
crab.
Jericho, the walls of Jericho, the F5, and the Diamond Cutter DDP.
Oh,
I even had that.
The Boston Crab, was the Boston Crab a finishing move, or was that just like a move in wrestling?
I don't know what
It's
you're
just
talking about.
It's the same as
Pretty
the
much
walls of Jericho.
structured.
You just sit on the guy's back and hold his legs.
And hold his legs up and pull him.
Yeah.
Brooks keeps going in and out. I love Brooks' computer. It's beautiful.
I'm the one on a freaking hotspot right now.
Yeah, and Brooks is running off
Sure you can
dots. Yeah, he's got a Tandy 1000 going on over there.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to mention or talk about before we let Timmy go and let you guys get on with your lives today?
Hey, have a good home run derby, Tim. Congratulations, man. I'm being serious when I say this. I know we fuck around the entire time, but congratulations. Hope you and the family are good. Obviously, shitty situation leaving Toronto, but glad you landed with the Yanks, even though pinstripes are going to make you look fatter. I hope you're well. All right.
Thanks. Thanks.
Tim, thank you so much for coming on our podcast and dealing with our bullshit.
Yeah.
Thanks for dealing with the wrestling snake draft with us. We'll let you know if you get any votes. We'll see. Not 100% sure. But yeah, otherwise, thanks again for coming on. CB, thanks again for coming on again. Hope you had fun today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and we'll probably be back later this week to talk some Orioles baseball. We're going to talk about what we think about what's going to happen in the second half of the MLB season and give us our predictions and kind of react to our predictions earlier in the year and see how they compare to, how things are going. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, post them on our social medias, and we'll try to get to them, every show. And yeah, thanks.
Hey,
again.
Brooksy, after we go off live, stay on for a second. I got to ask something. Nothing bad.
All righty.
All right.